Well, good evening and welcome to Science TV Prime News, today being on Tuesday, the 25th of November, 2025. My name is Chris Mololo. Our sign language interpreter is Irene Chebiwot. Here are our top stories tonight. We begin in Nyamira, where the governor, Nyaribo, has been impeached by the county assembly after a vote was held on a motion sponsored by Bonya Matuta, member of County Assembly Kemwomi Matwere. The motion to remove the governor passed with 23 members of the County Assembly voting in favor of the impeachment. The dramatic vote was immediately shrouded in controversy as Speaker Thadeus Nyabaro allowed 6 of the 28 present MCAs to vote on behalf of their absent colleagues. This action was taken to reach the necessary threshold required to send the impeachment motion to the Senate for trial, despite 12 MCAs deliberately keeping off the proceedings. Furthermore, the MCAs disregarded a sworn affidavit presented by the 12 absentees. Governor Nyaribo, who ascended to power in late 2020 following the death of his predecessor, John Nyagarama, faced several charges, including abuse of office.
Motion that this county assembly debates and approves the removal of Honorable Nyaribo, the governor of Nyamira County, from office by way of impeachment on the following grounds. 1, gross violation of the Constitution of Kenya and other laws, and 2, abuse of office.
This county assembly debates and approves the removal of Honorable His Excellency Nyaribo, the governor of Nyamira County, from office by way of impeachment on the following grounds. Gross violation of the Constitution of Kenya and other laws. 2, abuse of office.
And stand and say that the governor is in violation of the law, when indeed, up to the point that he followed these deliberations from Bunge Mashinani, they stood as the law up until the Bomet case was heard and determined. How then is it the governor's undoing?
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, that's IEBC Chief Executive Officer Marjan Hussein Marjan, has assured Kenyans that the Commission's preparations for Thursday's by-elections are now complete, promising a free, fair, and a credible electoral process. Marjan made the statement in Mbeere North constituency, where he led a multi-agency security meeting to finalize arrangements ahead of the polls. He confirmed that the Commission has concluded all necessary logistical and security preparations across the areas. The CEO specifically assured voters that all polling stations in Mbeere North and other by-election areas will have adequate security.
I want to assure the countries that we want to give them a credible election, and each and every agent, each and every stakeholder has a role to play, including even the youth, the other stakeholders, the observers. They have a responsibility. The youth are the ones who are also going to conduct the elections at the polling stations. They are the ones who are going to give, they identify people, they are going to give ballot papers. They have a stake. The observers are there to ensure that the process actually is credible. It's actually given credence. Police officers are going to be there to make sure that there is security. So there's nothing to worry about. Okay. Everything is going to be okay.
Still on matters by election, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has announced the deployment of both uniformed and plainclothes police officers to all hotly contested by-election zones. This comprehensive security measure is intended to prevent violence and ensure orderly voting in the upcoming polls. The move was confirmed on Tuesday by IEBC Commissioner Alutalala Mukwana, who assured the public that sufficient arrangements are in place across all 22 by-election areas. Speaking to the media in Tana River County on Tuesday, November 25th, Commissioner Mukwana acknowledged the inherent competitiveness of the contests.
Zuri na tunashukuru Mungu. Wakubwa wetu wametupatia support ile ambayo tunahitaji. Material zote ambazo tunahitaji kutumia, zile zinaitwa strategic na non-strategic, zimefika kwa Trading Center ambayo ni Chicago Girls Secondary School. Ambako tuna vituo 134 tutazisambaza kesho kuanzia from afternoon section ambayo kila POs na DPOs watakuwa huku na security ambao tumepanga ambavyo watafanya hiyo kazi yao.
Legislators in both the Senate and the National Assembly are today commencing a 3-day debate on President William Ruto's State of the Nation address, which was delivered last week. The debate provides lawmakers with a crucial opportunity to scrutinize the president's assessment of the country's political, economic, and social progress over the past year. During his address, President Ruto unveiled an ambitious 5 trillion shillings plan designed to transform Kenya from a developing to a developed status. The grand vision is anchored on large-scale, non-debt financed investment across 4 key pillars, that is human capital, irrigation, energy, and transport.
Donley's book has been opened in the office of the clerk on the first floor of the main parliament buildings for members and staff who wish to convey their condolences to the family and friends. Now, honorable senators, on behalf of all senators and the entire staff of the parliament, and on my own behalf, I wish to take this opportunity to condole with the family of Dr. Bushere, parliamentary staff, and all friends in this most difficult moment. The Parliament of Kenya has lost a diligent and committed staffer. Honorable senators, in honor of our departed staffer, I request that we all stand and observe a minute of silence. You may be seated, honorable senators. Honorable senators, when the chair is upstanding, you don't just dash in the chamber. May the soul of the late Dr. Philip Brighton Bushere rest in eternal peace. Now, I will ask the Majority Leader to extend a word of welcome to the scouts who are here with us, and maybe proceed to pay his tribute. And thereafter, I will allow 20 minutes for honorable senators to pay their tributes to the departed staffer. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I join you on behalf of my colleagues to welcome this delegation from the World Scouts Association. I didn't know that there's a title of president, which is befitting to my sister, Senator Tabitha Mutinda, who's president of World Scout parliamentary association, I think you said, and this delegation is visiting with her. Senator Tabitha continues to distinguish herself in many fields. I think she may soon be acquire other names, Mr. Speaker, beyond the president, because there are one too many already. I know many other things that she does. But I want to welcome this delegation that is visiting with us. May they enjoy their time with us and get to learn a thing or two. Mr. Speaker, I know that you also are a ranking member in the Scout Association in this country. And I congratulate you for keeping that honor. I tried to be a scout when I was in primary, but I was told that I bounced instead of walking. Therefore, I could not qualify, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I admire people like you continue to dedicate themselves. I think, Mr. Speaker, my mother conspired with the teacher because she could not afford the uniform, so that they knocked me out. But I congratulate them. On a more serious note, Mr. Speaker, I join you together with the rest of my colleagues to pass a word of condolence on the passing of Dr. Bushere, a fine gentleman. I served with him in the board of CPST for 5 good years. And most afternoons we'd engage in very deep conversations about that institution and its value to Parliament and particularly to us as a Senate. And there are many times that we would disagree, but never disagreeably. And he would pass his solid points calmly, but with a lot of passion on training and improving capacity building to members of Parliament. That was his area of expertise. Little wonder that subsequently.
Being a scout is not easy. That one was bouncing. Anyway, let's proceed. Interior Principal Secretary, Dr. Raymond Omolo, has issued a stern warning that growing anonymity in the digital space is emerging as one of the most serious generational threats facing the African continent. Speaking on Tuesday during the 3rd African Forum on Cybercrime and Electronic Evidence, Omolo stated that this anonymity undermines cybercrime investigations and exposes millions of young people to unprecedented online risks. The PS highlighted that while African governments continue to strengthen their cyber security infrastructure, the challenge of users hiding behind faceless accounts has become a major stumbling block to digital justice.
E-governance platforms have equally been targeted. Some incidents as recent as last week. The continent loses more than $4 billion annually to cybercrime. And these losses weaken our economies, undermine trust in digital systems, and increase vulnerabilities for governments, businesses, as well as citizens.
But in this particular aspect, is to equip the judicial officers, judges and magistrates with knowledge about the content of cybercrime law and also knowledge on how to handle electronic evidence. Unless judges are properly equipped, they're unlikely to render justice in the manner expected because of the complexity of the crimes we are talking about here.
I could not agree more with you on what you said about the threats and the challenges that we are facing and the need for capacity building for criminal justice authorities. That's why we are organizing such events, but we also engage with the countries from Africa, and not only in assisting in capacity building, in legislation.
In other news, the civil societies in Kenya have called on the International Criminal Court, that's ICC, to investigate the atrocities committed against citizens of Tanzania by the government in the aftermath of the general elections held last month. Led by Kenya Human Rights Commission Executive Director Dennis Malombe, the Kenya civil societies have expressed reservation over the national reconciliation mechanism set by President Samia Suluhu Hassan, terming it a cover-up for atrocities committed against the citizens. Speaking in Bondo, where where they visited the grave of late former Kenya Prime Minister Raila Odinga, Malombe said the proposed mechanism by President Suluhu has no capacity to investigate atrocities committed by a sitting head of state and therefore urged the ICC to intervene to ensure accountability.
As Tanzania faces the atrocities it is facing, I think today Kenyan civil society have written to African Human Rights Mechanism to come in and speak. So we are here to pledge that we will continue the good legacy of Baba, the human rights defender, the whistleblower, the Pan-Africanist, the feminist.
And we are therefore calling for accountability on Suluhu, because his conduct actually is a gross violation of human rights. And also this idea of also mismanaging elections, and then when people contest the outcome, you also violate their rights. It's also something we are looking into. So as actors in that space, actually we are calling for the International Criminal Court to intervene, because we understand the national reconciliation mechanisms are not able to investigate atrocities committed by a sitting head of state in Africa. We have seen that in Kenya over Kibaki, and we have also seen that in other countries. So we are calling for truth, justice, and accountability. And as actors, we have also refused these other mechanisms she's proposing, because they are part of whitewash and cover-up.
Lastly, the Cabinet Secretary for Energy and Petroleum, Opiyo Wandayi, and his counterpart from the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, CS John Mbadi, have continued to drum up support for the broad-based government from ODM supporters as a way of continuing the late Raila Odinga's legacy of forgiveness and unity. While speaking at the Women and Youth Empowerment fundraiser in North Kanyamkago Ward, Uriri Sub-County in Migori, the two urged the residents to shun what they referred to as divisive politics, which they said it's meant to create tension, enmity, and disrupt the development agenda of President William Ruto. The event, which focused on empowering small traders, particularly women, served as a platform for ODM leaders to call for cohesion and cooperation among party members.
Yes. And ODM, which is the party that I belong to, and that all of us here belong to, has made a very wise decision to appoint Dr. Oburu Oginga as the acting party leader. In fact, I will be proposing as a life member of ODM that the ODM convenes very, very quickly, soon after Baba's send-off, the National Delegates Convention, to actually confirm Dr. Oburu's appointment, and in fact to elect him formally as the party leader of ODM. Because we believe Dr. Oburu Oginga has got the wherewithal, the necessary experience, and the composure to steer this party to the next level, whilst working closely with our partners in the broad-based government who are...
Well, with those news updates, let's now take a short break right here on Science TV Prime News. We are coming back with the sports updates after this break. Stay with us.